Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So I am Jeff Lair. Welcome to Start, Grow, Manage. We're the MBA program for MSPs. We help MSPs define their business so that they can get more for less, really. I guess that's a good way to put it. And I am super excited to be here with Logan. And Logan, I should have asked you how to pronounce your name. I'm going to mess it up. Logan
Uh,
Ochitwa?
Ohitwa. If you got it
Ochitwa.
right, I would have been pretty shocked. So it's all
You
good.
know, it's like you'd think I'd learn at this point to ask for the pronunciations beforehand, but thank you for your for correcting me. And Andrew Down, I think I got that one right.
I was gonna say, if you
Um,
get mine wrong, we're in trouble on this, I
yeah,
think.
exactly. Unless it was like some bizarre French pronunciation that I don't know of. But you guys are with Vendasta, and I'm excited to have this conversation. We met, what was it, a year ago, right, Logan, at
Yep.
Channel Pro, and you guys have been doing some really interesting development with your program involving AI and marketing and all kinds of interesting stuff. So I'm excited to learn a bit more about that. And why don't we just pause here and let you guys just introduce yourself, and then let's go into what is the problem that you solve for MSPs.
Sure, yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'll kick it off, and then Logan, if you want to you can intro and segue into the problems we're solving every day. My name's Andrew Down. I'm the Enterprise Sales Director at Vendasta. I oversee a few different verticals, but my background, my experience is in the IT channel. I've been with Vendasta, just celebrated 4 years last month. And prior to that, for the last 10, 11, 12 years, I was an owner of an MSP. So I've kind of been in the shoes that a lot of the audience and listeners to this are in today. I was head of sales at an MSP up here in Canada. Helped grow from next to nothing, joining them year one, to $3 to $4 million of revenue, and they're still functioning, still operational, still doing really well. Which is good. So I've experienced a lot of the challenges MSPs face with sales and marketing, and it's been great over the last 4 years working with the MSPs, with vendors, with MDF programs, just helping streamline and make things a bit easier for MSPs. There's a bit of a joke in the industry that MSPs are typically not good at sales and marketing, and it tends to be true-ish. Some are stronger than others, and we're here to help and just really help drive awareness to what's out there and maximize. If you are spending or investing in marketing, we want to make sure the reach goes far and wide. So and we'll get into other stuff here, but that's a bit about myself, Jeff.
Awesome. Can I interrupt, Logan, before you go on?
Yep.
I think one of the things that I've seen is that the best solutions come out of industry, right? So it's when you've got somebody who has the experience, who knows the market, that's when you get sort of that best the best insights into what's actually needed. And also, because you are focused on the sales and marketing, just I've found that a lot of MSPs really go down the route of like the hard sell. It's like we learn these hard sell tactics, these pressure tactics to try and get people to buy. And I think that I know that there are better ways to connect with people. And I think that it's, like you say, I think as an industry, we're not great at tapping into those more subtle ways of building a relationship and then converting to a client and doing it, being on the same side of the negotiation table. It's not really our strength as an industry. So that's an interesting point. We can probably come back to that.
100%. Yeah, it's funny, but the MSPs, either it's the hard sell or it's the technical sell,
right?
And neither of those really resonate with the customer because they're not the IT person, they're not the IT team. But yeah, well, to your point, we can
or
circle
even
back
better,
on that.
It's the hard technical sell.
we might be on to
Logan, so tell us a bit about yourself, and then let's get into what the problem you guys solve.
For sure. So yeah, my name is Logan. I'm an enterprise account director here at Vendasta. So I'm working up and down the channel to support our partners, everyone from IT vendors who are looking to support their MSPs with their marketing initiatives, as well as working directly boots on the ground with MSPs who are either trying to improve their own sales and marketing efforts or actually leveraging Vendasta as a distribution system to help them generate new revenue streams for their business as well, selling our AI technology or other solutions like that as well.
Cool. So how does that work, Logan?
Yeah, so we Andrew and you were both chatting about it earlier. We've noticed over the years, being in the channel, there's a few kind of key problems that MSPs face. First and foremost, there's a little bit of that weakness on the sales and marketing side, and I think that's compounded by the fact that MSPs are generally very busy. They're on site, they're facing a problem, they're putting out fires. They don't always have time to answer the phone or reply to that form fill. We use an analogy at Vendasta all the time of, a lot of business owners are the plumber under the sink. Water is pouring on their face, and if their phone rings at the moment, they're not answering and picking up that lead because they're literally trying to fix the problem right in front of them. And where Vendasta is really positioned in the last number of years, at our core, we're a manufacturer of marketing and business operations technology. So think things like CRM, social media management software, marketing automation, lead conversion, and lead generation technologies. And we've really positioned ourselves in the last year and a half in particular by building out our own AI systems that really sort of help the business owner or the MSP manage the lead conversion and the customer engagement side a lot more effectively. We talked to countless MSPs over the years who, the general sentiment is, well, marketing doesn't work. I've done it before. I ran ads. It didn't work. And you start to dive a little bit deeper into it. And it's like, well, one was maybe a little bit of lack of marketing experience, and maybe the campaigns weren't set up in the most optimal way that they could be. I would say the vast majority of the time, it's like, well, yeah, I did get 10 phone calls, but I was busy and I couldn't answer them at the time. And I got back to them a few days later, but they'd already.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so we've sort of seen this shift where, consumer buying behavior has changed. In the past, you would fill out a form or you'd walk on prem and make a request in person. You'd maybe pick up the phone and call someone. But nowadays we're seeing this shift, and I'd say it's pretty cross-generationally as well, where people want that 24/7 response. They want to be able to take an immediate action, book a meeting if they get the information they're looking for. And most importantly, they want to get some value before they give any value. I don't know how many people on the call love filling out a form and then getting like 38 emails from some spam list shortly after, because we've all been there. And so most people are a little more hesitant nowadays to give up that information. And so we've really sort of, like I said, tried to position ourselves into a place where they can have an end customer engage a little bit more organically without feeling that sort of hard sell that you guys were talking about earlier.
Well, and one thing that I think is interesting is, marketing does work. It's not that it doesn't work, right? It's marketing. Marketing is the way you go to market. Like if it didn't work, nobody would be able to ever sell anything. I always like to say it starts from product design and goes all the way through to the testimonial, right? It's that how you take things to market. I think that where people go wrong are sort of in two areas. One, they try to market to everybody, which is very, very difficult and very, very expensive. But the other one, and I think you're addressing this directly, so let me know if I'm wrong, but the other one is that there's got to be method to the madness. Like there's got to be a process. You've got to look at what's working, what's not working. You have to run experiments. You have to change things as you're going through. And I did this thing. Did I get this kind of result? If I'm more consistent here, what does this do? Like you kind of have to have a plan for it. And I think where a lot of people fall down is they do one thing and then they expect it to work, or they try this tactic over here and expect it to work. And I think what I see in your system is more of this, we're going to treat it like a program. We're going to treat it like a process, and we're going to professionalize it so that you can see where you're getting results and where you need to improve, right? Does that sound right to you guys?
For sure. Sorry, just quickly, Jeff, you touched on like MSPs sometimes try to be everything to everyone. And I think once you find your niche, once you find where you're going to focus and when, you then got to have a marketing plan that speaks to that audience. Meet your customers where they're at. Are there industry events? And when we just met, we're doing a bunch of conferences this year. We met with our internal marketing team, and a conference isn't a marketing strategy. A conference is a piece of a marketing plan that's much more holistic, and it's a it's number 3 on a list of 12 things to attract new customers, right? And I think it's really important that you first figure out who you want to target, and then you focus on, okay, where are those folks? What are the events? What are the webinars? Where are these people visiting, and what message is going to resonate? And then you build a holistic plan that is not just trying one thing once and expecting immediate ROI, 10x. I spent $1,000 on ads, I need $10,000 tomorrow. That you will be disappointed if that's the expectation. But consistency,
if that's the expectation out of the box, right? Like maybe you get there 2 years from now, but it doesn't happen on day one, and it doesn't happen without knowing what the next step is. So on conferences, there is this, like you say, you go to a conference like, oh, we're going to sell, and then either you do or you don't. But really, the key to selling at a conference is knowing what your next step is. The key is having, what do you do after the conference? What do you invite them to? What do you send them to? What 38 emails, Logan? And you may not like it, but it works. What 38 emails are you going to send to people? What's the story that you're telling that connects what's happening at the conference to what you're doing, right? How are you engaging people over time? And I think that's the thing that people miss, right? And we want to do $1,000 of ads and expect $10,000 to come in. But it takes a lot of tuning to get there and to make that work.
Yeah, it's really that sort of scientific method of, we think this might work, and you invest and you try some things on it. And I talk about this a lot when we're working with partners who are leveraging MDF. Is yes, MDF is there to help you generate new leads, and you can use those marketing development funds to do that. But it's also a great opportunity to maybe try something that you haven't tried in the past and get more data points so that you can build a more holistic strategy when it comes to your overall
I love that.
marketing. I'm really fond of a line where I like telling people, if marketing was as easy as $1 in, $2 out, I love my job, but not enough that I wouldn't take a yacht in the Mediterranean somewhere, right? And if it was as easy as $1 in, $2 out, I'd be a billionaire. We wouldn't be having this conversation, and everybody on earth would just be doubling their money every month. But the fact of the matter is, it takes time, it takes consistent effort, and it takes really thoughtful effort, right? It's not just, oh, well, if I run ads for a year, then I'll start being profitable. It's like, well, no, you need to tweak and adjust and turn those knobs and dials to get to, as Andrew mentioned, that ICP that you're really, that ideal customer that works for your business and your brand, right?
And I think identifying like B2B is long cycle sometimes, right? When you're trying to attract a new enterprise client or a law firm in your local market, it's not going to be one ad, one click, one email. It's multi-threaded. It's over time. And unless you're selling a widget, like a consumer product to consumers, that you can kind of, dollars in equals dollars out. It's just a volume play. But when it's B2B, relationships matter, reputation matters, referrals, and all of those sorts of things. And it just takes time. You need to just have very, I think, realistic expectations. And you can fast track some stuff, but it's not going to be overnight.
So that's what we've got to do. How do you guys help?
So, there's a lot of different ways that Vendasta supports. We talk a lot about, the customer journey and really being this holistic sort of strategy. So there's various different touch points, and depending on the research that you look at and the, the industry that you're looking at, for B2B, it can be anywhere from 18 to 35 touch points to get a standard conversion. And so what can those touch points look like? You've got organic search with SEO and your local map packs, your business listings and reputation that all go into that sort of findability online. There's brand awareness. This may be from advertising or from social media or events or, podcasts, video or audio based sort of outreach. There's the reputation side that Andrew mentioned a moment ago of, once somebody finds you, do they see a 1-star reputation and they maybe don't want to work with that person and they'll go to the next guy down the list. And then you've obviously got your conversion point. So the website itself, ensuring that not only is it content rich and it can get the information across, but also understanding, especially for MSPs, that the buyer isn't generally super technical. So they maybe need it kind of watered down or dumbed down to their level in a sense of layman's terms.
So I'm going to, it's not that they're not super technical. They're not technical. And not only are they not technical, they don't care about technology. Like, this is the thing I think
Yeah.
that people struggle with. They don't care. They don't want to,
Yeah.
they don't care if you updated anything. They don't care about Word being whatever, or their operating system being out of date. They do not care. It is irrelevant to them, right? And so it's not even dumbing down. It's like you have to speak their language, right? So it's literally, si empezamos a hablar español aquí, pues es muy difícil si la gente no entiende, ¿no? And it's not necessarily that you have to dumb down to speak Spanish, right? But you got to speak. If you want to communicate with me, you got to speak Spanish if we're speaking Spanish, right? You can't be speaking English and expect the Spanish speaker to understand. It's the same thing with technology. You can't be speaking technology and expect a non-tech person to say, "Oh yeah, MFA all day long." Like what the hell is this person talking
Jeff,
about?
my MSP was very niche focused on professional services. So a lot of doctors, lawyers, and like high ticket, but not technical. And all of our messaging was around uptime, profitability, and it wasn't about how we did it. It wasn't about the best servers but it was we'll make sure your systems are fast so you can be efficient and work anywhere, because accountants love working near a golf course, right? And it's not going to be in the office all the time. So we had to make sure we spoke the language that their customers were wanting, not feeds and speeds and MFA and cybersecurity and like that's all important, and
It's
it
like,
matters to us as IT people.
I'm doing some work right now with someone who sells to dermatologists, and it's all about that patient experience. They don't care about any of the technology, but they're like, just don't make them wait, right? The Wi-Fi is slow. So the fact that the Wi-Fi is slow means that the person waiting in the waiting room, can't play their game or work or whatever it is that they're doing, right? And so they're annoyed that they're 15 minutes late to their meeting. And I'm like, just stop that, right? If the Wi-Fi were faster, they wouldn't be as annoyed, right? That's what they care about. They don't care about any of it. Like, you go to them and say, "Oh, but you have 500 gigabits, whatever it is," and they're like, "Huh?" It's like, tell me what, like, but is it faster for the guy
Make it faster.
sitting in the waiting room, right?
Yeah, the specs don't matter. Even the brand, the product doesn't matter, but the outcome does. What is the faster internet going to provide the SMB? I mean, that's the story you really got to hone in on as an MSP.
Absolutely. What does that mean to me as a business owner, right? So how does that improve my business and my bottom line? Because I care about my business and my bottom line.
Well, it's really interesting, Jeff. So my dad runs an MSP in southern Saskatchewan here in Canada, and he often talks about how one of the biggest challenges he faces is that business owners view IT as an expense and not an investment, and he has to try to change their perspective into, and I think Andrew and yourself just formulated that in a really good way around, no, what you're getting with good IT is uptime, better customer experience, a faster, Wi-Fi or connection. You're reducing wait times. It's the things that allow that business to run more effectively and more and allow them to generate more revenue and actually grow their business when they have that seamless IT. And it's one of those sort of thankless industries in a lot of ways where if it's doing its job, they never think about you. But as soon as it's not, man, they've got your name on the hit list, right? They're coming after you because it didn't work and it disrupted something with their business.
Well, and one of the things that we really focus our members on is this idea of really understanding your clients and delivering solutions to what their problems are, right? Because if you're selling tech, nobody wants tech. So you got to sell the business results. And one of our clients, and I think this is particularly relevant to you guys. So F1IT, a brilliant group of people, they focused on dentists. And just focusing for them was like this massive relief, because they were able to like really put up their prices, reduce their clients a little bit, and dramatically increase their revenue. And now they had a bit of space to do things and think about what the real solutions were for their dentists. But one of the things that they noticed was that the dentists themselves also struggled with marketing.
Yeah.
So now that they had that space and they're like, okay, these guys have that problem, they've actually started to develop a marketing program for dentists so that they could get out and support them and provide some of that insight. And imagine how much more valuable that makes F1 IT to the dentist, where it's, yeah, we're going to make your IT work, but we're also going to make sure that your public facing website works, that your Google Maps work, that your blog posts are set up, or whatever their marketing is. It makes you a lot more sticky and really sets you apart. And what I think is exciting about what you offer is the way that you can actually support that.
Yeah, we're unique in the sense, and you nailed it. The closer you get to revenue, if you're helping your customer with drive revenue, they're not going to leave you, right? So uptime's great, efficiency's great, but if you start to help them actually drive leads and opportunities, and what's unique about Vendasta, what I love, joining here, there's a lot of really good MSP agencies. There's a lot of really good MSP marketing companies out there, and I mean, lots of your partners are probably working with them, right? Where we're unique is we'll help you with yours, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. Where we really see success, an MSP is an SMB and has the same problems as their end customers. So we really see value in helping an MSP sell the exact same strategy solutions we're helping implement to their end customers. And we are very unique in that space. There's not really anyone that we compete with on the MSP side that also sells down to other verticals. And that's where you nailed it, but that's where we can really help MSPs not only with their own sales and marketing, but offer a new revenue stream. And
right.
I kind of touched on it in the intro, but to the average customer, to a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, a retail location, when they think of the internet, they think IT. So to them, I'm not saying MSPs agree with this, but to a doctor, to a lawyer, their website is IT, whether we like it or not, right? Because it's online. It's anything plugged into a wall or anything that's in the internet is IT, right? So
right.
And what we're seeing now is this fast track of AI is the new trend of everyone's talking AI. No one really knows what's going on, how it's going to impact their business. And you better believe that doctor, that lawyer, that plumber, when they hear AI, they don't know what's happening and they're going to ask their IT professional, right? So making sure you're up to date on these trends for your own business, but also for your customers is such a massive, you mentioned sticky opportunity to augment your services.
Yeah, we're seeing all over the place. Everybody's asking their MSP, what can I do with AI? How can I use AI? How can I enhance marketing with AI? How can I enhance operations with AI? And there's just a lot of noise out there. It's hard to understand it all, to digest it all, to figure it out, to explain it to them, right? Which is sort of why it's cool that you guys have been working on figuring that out. And I think one of the things that the MSP world has to do is find those people who are investing in understanding this, so that then we can use that. And that's part of what you've built into your system, right?
Yeah, I think one of the really unique things about Vendasta is historically we have this application called Business App. And the idea behind Business App was to kind of declutter what a SMB or an MSP would need to do on a day-to-day basis. So you're trying to manage your reputation or your social media or your business listings or your website. Instead of having 6 different platforms that you have to log into to manage those different things, imagine a world where it all lives under one centralized hub. And it's almost like our founders had a crystal ball, because as AI hit the scene, you start to realize that AI doesn't work so well if you have fragmented data. So if you've got data sitting in 7 different platforms, all of a sudden AI becomes really difficult to use in an effective way. You don't actually save time because you're spending so much time just trying to get the data to the AI so it can actually operate. And so what Vendasta has really built within that business app now is not only a software implementation layer where a SMB can request and respond to a review 1 minute and post to social media the next minute without having to leave that dashboard, but they've now got this AI knowledge base which feeds an AI workforce where they can train the AI out of the box on business profile information, website information, any other info that they want that AI to be aware of. And then they can pick and choose, well, when it comes to my social media strategy, I want my social AI assistant to be aware of these pieces of information. They probably don't need to know my hiring policies because that's not really what we're posting about on social media. But similarly, there's this ability for them to then leverage all of that centralized data to build strong foundations that as AI gets better and better and better, they don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel. They can just open up that information to the next piece of technology that hits the scene. And so that's where we're really seeing not only the MSPs leveraging the tech stack to make their own life easier when it comes to their marketing, but being able to, again, actually distribute that downstream. And you touched on something, Jeff, on even for MSPs, I think a lot of people look at AI and think, well, this is really complex to roll out and to integrate, and I have to do so much education for my customers. And I can't remember if it was Andrew or yourself who said at the end of the day, like, all the end customer cares about is I had an input and I want an output. They don't need to know how the sausage was made. They don't need to know what went on in the black box. And that's what's, I think, really unique about what Vendasta has built, is it can all be under the hood. And the end customer, the lawyer, logs in and they see leads in their CRM and appointments getting scheduled, and they know they're getting money for their time. And when they finish that meeting, a review request goes out. And they can tell the MSP or whoever they're working on the technology side, this is the outcome that I want. And the MSP can come into Vendasta's system and actually build out an automated system that does all of those things for them, and in a much easier fashion than it might seem, at the surface, because we're consolidating all that data into one centralized hub.
Well, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds really interesting. How does someone get started? So, Carl, I think you put up that link, right? So you have a way for people to check this out, or some sort of webinar we can attend, or what's the next step for us?
Yeah, there's a few things. I think Carlo's been putting up a couple links. You can connect with Logan and I on LinkedIn. We're both fairly active there, as well as we are going to be at Channel Partners in Las Vegas in a couple weeks. We're a longtime attendee as a vendor, so we have a booth. We got lots of great prizes. So any MSPs that are going to be in Vegas, please reach out. We'd love to connect in person. And then, I just want to, the title of the webinar, Solve More Problems, Make More Money. I mean, it's
I like it.
Simple, but it's brilliant. And, marketing, AI are huge opportunities for MSPs to help their SMB customers solve problems and make money. And, working with Vendasta really does streamline it and make it simple. And I think that's, if there's one takeaway, I mean, that's what we're here to kind of evangelize and talk about. So I love the title, and, that's what we're all about.
That sounds great. Now, I want to make one thing clear for everybody. It is not a requirement working with Vendasta that you shave your head, right? I mean, it's okay for you, all of you out there with hair. We appreciate you. There's no discrimination of any kind.
This is true.
100%.
All right, then on that, guys, I think it's been fun. Anything else that we need to cover that we haven't talked about?
The only thing, a link got shared as well. There was an announcement. We launched Yesware in our marketplace. Again, the theme of solving more problems and making more money. Yesware is a company Vendasta acquired a couple of years ago. It is a sales enablement tool that bolts on to Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. You're already selling Google, you're already selling Microsoft to your customers. Take a look at Yesware. Any customers who are client facing, it's a fantastic tool to help track sales opportunities and who's reading your emails and opening attachments and sharing things. You can build cadences and campaigns to just help with outreach. It's high margin. It's a great add-on to Google and Microsoft, to just drive additional revenue, additional margin, and stickiness. So just a plug to one of the other links there as well.
That sounds great. So, and from our side, remember, we have our accelerator kicking off this week. So final day to register is on the 13th. And what we do is we teach you how to build your MSP around these solutions so that you have the capability to integrate new things, to bring in that MRR, to solve problems for your clients, and take advantage of those opportunities like F1IT, like Vendasta clients, to solve bigger problems, charge more money, and make your life easier. Which is, how did you say it, Andrew? Solve more problems and make more money.
Make more money. That's it.
Yeah. So that's it. So love to see you at the accelerator. If you're going to be in Channel Pro, be sure to go visit the Vendasta team. They're a lot of fun to hang out with. And gentlemen, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks so much for having us, Jeff. And yeah, if you're an MSP, make sure you attend the MSP accelerator. That sounds fantastic.
Thanks again, Jeff.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one right now and tap into our insights and instincts to help drive your business vision and success. Remember, you didn't start your business to feel frustration. You started it for freedom. We can help you discover the impact, freedom, and wealth you always imagined. Learn more at startgrowmanage.com/learn more.